Hi everyone, Vicky here. Welcome. Today I'm going to lead you through a nice gentle floor-based practice. So this is going to be perfect for just finding a little bit of space and ease into the lower back. So lots of you might be doing lots of sitting or maybe some new exercise and you're really starting to feel it in the lower back. And some of us just have places in the body where we do clench or tense if we're feeling a little bit stressed or up in the head about things. So hopefully this will start to ease out your lower back and just find a little bit of fluidity in that area and start to make it more comfortable for you. So for this practice, if you can, see if you can just get yourself 2 cushions. So that'd be ideal, or blocks if you've got blocks, that'd be perfect. Okay, so we're going to be on the ground. So feel free to lie down and then just make yourself really, really comfortable. So we're going to lie down. So this might be either comfortable laying with your legs out long, but quite often if you do get a bit niggly in the lower back, you won't be able to lie down with the legs like this. So you'll want to bend your knees, wriggle your feet a little bit wider than your hips, and then rest your knees against each other in the middle. So they're like a little tripod, and then that will just ease the lower back already. Or use your 2 pillows and place them under each knee, so the backs of your heels touch the ground. And then the knees are just slightly lifted. So again, we're just finding that nice sense of settling into the lower back. So completely up to you, whichever you want to do. And we're just going to give ourselves a few minutes to arrive onto our mats and into our bodies and just get ourselves ready for our yoga practice. So comfy legs, heels in contact with the ground or the feet if you've got your knees bent. Just take a little bit of time to shift around in the pelvis. So maybe wriggling the hips or tucking the pelvis under, squeezing the bottom a little bit and then settling the hips back down. And then place your hands in a comfortable position. So whether that's hands gently resting onto your belly or maybe allowing the arms to come down by the side of the body and the palms up and open. And then finding this lovely sense of dropping into the backs of the shoulder blades, elongating the neck by slightly drawing the chin down and in, and just readjusting the shoulder blades down your back a little bit more if you need to. Closing the eyes gently, and then just starting to become aware of the gentle rise and fall of your body as you breathe. Watching the inhalation and feeling your body lifting, expanding and opening. And feel how your body just softens back inwards and the breath gently leaves the body once again. Have a lovely sense of breathing in this present moment. And then just let your exhalation carry away the past, so carrying away every moment that's brought you up to this present moment. Take a nice breath in again in this present moment. And then as you breathe out, just think of breathing away the future, so not worrying about what's to come. Find your breath in this moment. Just enjoying this lovely bit of quiet space that you've given yourself today. And then as you breathe out next time, just see if you can really drop into all of the body parts in contact with the ground. So just allowing the muscles to start to release and soften, so they don't have to do any work in this position. And then feel your face becoming more smooth and soft. So smoothing over the forehead, finding a little more space between the eyebrows, softening over the eyes and over the temples, down through the nose and over the cheeks, through the sides of the jaw, softening your chin, softening your lips, and then bring that lovely softness inside of your palate. So the tongue is just moving away from the roof of the mouth. Got a nice gap between the teeth. Softening the teeth, softening the gums. Softening the roof of the palate, the base of the palate and insides of your cheeks. Okay, and then just coming back to the rise and fall of your body. Maybe noticing the breath is now starting to slow down and settle. And then in your mind's eye, I'd like to take your awareness right down to your tailbone. Visualize your tailbone right at the base of your spine. And then see if you can visualize softening all the muscles that are around the tailbone. So really start to soften into your glutes, into your buttocks. And then in your mind's eye, start to make your way up through the spine. So the next section is our sacrum. So this is actually a fused bone where our pelvis attaches onto. So the vertebrae are fused. But just see if you can again think of softening the muscles around that plate at the bottom of the back. So again, top of the buttocks, really soften, release. Some of you will find this easier than others. So just stay with it. And then start to make your way into your lumbar spine. So right into sort of where we get that little curve in the lower back. So visualize softening the actual vertebrae and the space between your vertebrae. And then the muscles either side of the spine. Soften through the lower back. And then start to make your way up through the middle of the back. So we're meeting the thoracic spine where your ribs attach onto. So think of softening the back ribs, softening those big muscles through the upper back. Making your way up between the space between the shoulder blades. Dropping into the shoulder blades a little bit more. And then softening through the vertebrae of the back of the neck. Just releasing muscle either side of the spine, side of the neck. And then finally make your way right up to the top vertebrae, so where your skull attaches onto your spine. And just see if you can have a little loosening of the jaw, so almost like you're chewing. So you've got a nice gap between the teeth. Let your chin drop down a touch and see if you can visualize that very top space, top of the spine, just becoming a little more open and spacious. Okay, lovely. So just returning back to your breath. And then from this lovely, calm, grounded place, we're going to start to move the body gently. So just give the fingers and the toes a little wriggle. And then when you feel ready, we're going to bend the knees and just pop the feet firmly onto the ground with the knees bent. So if you've got any cushions, we can just slide those out to the side. Sliding one foot up and then the other foot up. So this is going to be really nice and gentle, quite a slow pace. So we can start to really ease into the lower back. So just make any adjustments that you need to make. Our feet are hip width, and then we're going to draw the right foot up in towards the belly. So we can hold onto the shin. If you find that a little uncomfortable on the knee, some of you might prefer to hold onto the back of the thigh. So just take a little moment here. So now we're just starting to stretch through the buttocks a little bit, through the glutes, but also creating a tiny stretch into the lower back. So let your arms become heavy. Really think of sinking in through the tailbone. Soften your toes, soften your jaw, and just take a moment to pause there. And then we're going to start to create a little circle with the knees. So starting to mobilize into the hip joint. So we're going to use the right hand onto the right shin there, or the back of the thigh, and then just take the knee out to the side and then circle it back in. So breathing in as the knee goes open, exhale as the knee circles back around and in. So all of our hips are made very differently. So some of you will get quite a big circle and that will feel good, and others of you will just want to make it a little bit smaller. So see what feels good, always move in a way that feels nice for your body. Okay, one more circle, nice and easy. Just give that knee a little squeeze in, and then gently release the foot to the floor. Same thing on the other side, so left leg up and in. Give that leg a little hug. Think of dropping down into your tailbone, softening into the shoulders, loosening off the jaw, just taking that pause. Just find your breath there. And then this time using your left hand to your left leg somehow, taking the knee out to the side and then just circling it around nice and gently. You might feel it feels completely different on this side, so just work with this side of the body. See how this side feels, move in a way that feels good. Lovely, making that your last circle. And then give that knee a little hug in and slowly release the foot to the floor. Brilliant. So we're going to have our feet hip width. We're going to spread the toes into the ground. So just see if you can lift your toes, spread your toes open a little bit, press your feet down into the ground, the toes, and then we'll bring the hands down by the sides of the body. So from here, we're going to lift the pelvis just into a very small shoulder bridge. So we're probably coming up maybe 2 to 4 inches off the ground. So breath in, and then as we breathe out, we're going to press down into the floor, and then we're going to start to tuck the tailbone under. So start to tuck under, lift the bottom, and then just come a little bit off the floor. So I'm probably like 2 inches off the floor, I'd imagine. So we've just got the pelvis sort of lifted. See if you can actually release your buttocks here. Generally we tend to squeeze and lift, but we're going to release the buttocks so the muscles are nice and soft. So it's the legs doing the work. And then very gently just start to sway your body, your hips, side to side. So like a little hammock, just gently swaying in the wind. Just let your knees go a little bit. Might be big, might be small. See if you can soften your buttocks again. They might start to switch on, soften them. Breathing, swaying that little hammock in the wind, side to side. So just starting to release around the sacroiliac joint, so where your pelvis attaches onto your sacrum, onto that plate of the lower back. So we've got these joints that can get really quite tight. So soften your buttocks again, just keep that little sway side to side. Okay, we're coming back into the middle. If you want to here, just lift your heels. So you'll come a touch higher and then take a breath out where we just melt down through the back. Okay, land your heels. We're going to wriggle the feet a little bit wider onto the outer edges of your mat. So the knees become wide as well. Just notice if you're really arching your spine here. See if you can have a nice feeling of settling down. Won't be completely flat, but a feeling of kind of nestling into that lower back. We'll just bring the hands down by the sides of the body, unless you're a little more open in the shoulders, and you can take the arms out to the side or up and over the top of the head. So whatever feels good. We're going to take a breath in the middle, and then just rolling onto the outside of your right foot and onto the inside of your left foot, we're going to drop the knees into like a little windscreen wiper. I call this a wide leg twist. So take a moment to pause, soften your right buttock. Just locate that lovely stretching through the left side of your body into the hip, the waist, and the front of the thigh. And then when you're ready, lifting up through the middle, breathing in, that little feeling of drawing down through the lower back. So we're massaging right across the top of the buttocks, and then breathe out as we come over to the left. Soften your left buttock. Just locate that lovely stretching feeling right down through the right side of your body. Take a moment to breathe. And then we're going to shift this side to side at your own pace. So breathing in, knees come up nice and wide through the middle. Exhale, we're twisting. Inhale, coming up through the centre. Keep those knees lovely and wide. Exhale, twisting. Breathing in. Breathing out. So just really taking your time. If you notice, if you find that you drop your knees and you just want a little more stretch, slightly draw your hips in the direction of your knees. Breathing in, lifting. You might want to turn your head in the opposite direction maybe. So take your time. Don't worry if you're ahead of me or behind me, doesn't matter. So this is one of my all-time favourite movements to do if I'm feeling a little bit stuck in the lower back or around the glutes, like sort of clenching in the buttocks. So this just helps to ease it out. It's magic. So just be really gentle. Let's do one more on each side. Good. And then we're going to come back into the centre. So we're going to walk our feet a little bit closer, draw the heels fairly close into the buttocks again, and then we'll bring the hands down by the sides of the body. So now we're going to do some little pelvic tilts to start really moving through the lower back and through the sacrum. So just like we did before, we're going to do that little tuck under the pelvis, but you're just going to literally lift your bottom just off the floor. So spread the hands into the ground, take a breath in, and then as we breathe out, press through the feet and just tuck the pelvis under so you can just feel your buttocks just come off the floor. You can squeeze your bottom a little bit. And then when you're ready, breathing in. And this time as we breathe out, start to lower through the lower back. I'm just going to move my hands so you can see. And then this time, start to arch the other way. So rock up and forwards onto the pelvis and just create that little arch. So you can maybe just slide your fingertips under the lower back. So you create a little arch there. Breathe in. And then breathe out, draw down through the lower back, tuck the pelvis under, press into the feet, squeeze your bottom just a little bit to lift the bottom, and then breathe out, lower down, create that arch in the lower back. So we're just rocking the pelvis forward and back. Find your own rhythm. Always moving in a way that feels nice for you. So if it doesn't feel so nice, you can go back to one of the previous movements that we did. So maybe you're side to side, or maybe that little hammock where you lifted up and you did the sway of the hips. But if this is feeling good, just stay with it a couple more rounds, easing through the back. It's quite a small movement really. Let's do one more. And then just easing your lower back down. Perfect. So we're going to draw the right knee up into the chest again. Give it a little hug. And this time we're going to take the leg up to the ceiling into a hamstring stretch. So we do find that if the back's tight, the glutes are tight, and the hamstrings are tight, it's all sort of connected. So we'll give the hamstrings a nice little stretch out quickly. So give the knee a hug, extend that leg up to the sky, keep the knee soft, and then we can place the hands to the back of the thigh. And if you're a little more flexible, you might even reach onto the calf. So for me, I'm not there today. I just want to be on the back of the thigh. So while we're here, we just turn the foot a little bit, give your toes a little wriggle out, reverse the circle. And then we can flex the ankles, so draw the toes down, push the heel up a little bit, start to get that nice stretch into your calf and your Achilles. Little point up to the sky. Let's do it one more time, little flex and point. Good. So you can either just stay here if this is feeling quite good, or see if you can roll your shoulders off the ground. Maybe climb up to your calf, draw your chin in and your shoulders down your back. Ooh, quite a good calf stretch there with the foot flexed. Nice hamstring stretch. If anybody would like to, then extend your bottom leg. So it's just going to hover off the floor. So I'm actually stretching through the back now as well, through the spine and those big muscles at the back. So mostly your erector spinae that run either side of the spine. And then when you're ready, just hug the knees in. Place the right foot to the floor, and then we'll take that left leg up. So give the leg a little hug. Hands to the back of the thigh, keep the knee soft, or the hands to the back of the calf. And then we're going to turn the ankles, spreading the toes a little bit. Just notice what's happened with your shoulders here. Sometimes when I hold the leg, I notice my shoulders have lifted. So you can drop them back down, be nice and spacious in the chest. Loosen off the jaw. Okay, flexing the ankle. Pointing the toes. Flexing the ankle. Pointing the toes. Maybe just staying with your hamstring stretch, or maybe rolling up, nose towards the knee. Maybe climb up the leg a little bit. Always keep the knee soft so we're not straightening out the legs completely. And then we can take that nice underneath leg lengthening. Wonderful. And then rolling down, give both knees a little hug. We're going to circle the legs. So this might be quite a big circle, this might be quite a small circle. So we're really just thinking of massaging across the bottom of the back and right across the tops of the buttocks. Okay, reverse that now. See if you can connect your breath with the movement. So breathing in, knees come in, exhale, they go away. Lovely. Let's bring that into a stuff in the middle. Hand onto the front of the knees. You're going to bring your knees up and in towards you, out to the sides, push the legs away, join the knees together, and then they come back up and in. So it's almost like a little frog's legs. So if you're doing like a breaststroke, breathing in, knees go out, exhale. 2 more. Okay, good. Lovely. Right, we're going to bring ourselves up. We're going to come into a seated position with the legs out in front. So if your back's okay, you can cross your ankles, roll yourself up in the middle. If you need to be a little bit more mindful, just roll yourself onto one side. Use your hands to lift yourself up nice and slowly. Bear in mind, we've been down there a little bit of time, so you might get a bit of a head rush. So just take your time coming up. Okay, oh, I'm on a creaky floorboard. So we're going to come into a nice easy forward fold position. So see if you can get high on your sit bones just by lifting the buttocks up and out of the way. So if you're tight in the lower back, generally coming forwards here, you're going to feel like you get a bit stuck. So you might be kind of here. So I invite you to grab one of your little cushions, pop it underneath your knees. Heels are on the floor. I'm just going to make it a nice, easy, comfortable forward fold. So a breath in, lifting the chest. And then breathe out, just slide your hands down and forwards. Don't make this a strict flat back position. Just let your body ease forwards. So we're not trying to get the nose to the knees. We're not trying to reach the toes. We're just creating a deeper angle, a tighter angle between your thighs and your belly. And that will gently start to ease out the lower back. So nice and easy. Relax your shoulders down your back. Maybe take a moment to close the eyes, breathing in. And then as you breathe out, slightly elongate your out breath. Breathing out a little bit further. And you might notice you can just ease yourself forwards just a touch more. Don't worry if you can't. Slightly longer out breath. Inhale. Slightly longer out breath. See if around your hips anywhere you can soften. So can you release through your buttocks? Can you release in that hip crease? 2 more breaths. Longer exhalation. When you're ready, slowly walking yourself up. So you walk your hands up the legs. So we give the back a little bit of support. And think of your spine just stacking one vertebra on top of the other as we lift, slowly lift the head. Great. So we're going to come round onto all fours. So we'll just get rid of the pillow. And then we're going to come round onto all fours. So if you're on a hard floor, but you do have a yoga mat, see if you can maybe just fold your mat back in half so you've got this for your knees, so you've got extra cushioning, or grab a blanket, fold it up and pop it under your knees if you need that extra bit of cushioning. So we're going to come onto all fours, we're going to spread the hands underneath the shoulders, so really spread your fingers wide, pop a little bend in your elbows, and then just pick up one knee, place it back down, pick up the other knee, place it back down. So I normally find that once I've done that, I feel a bit more spacious in the lower back. So whenever you come to all fours, see if you can just take that moment to lift the knee, pop it back down, and then lift the other knee, pop it back down. Okay, so we're going to breathe in and we're going to come into what we call a cow. So when we breathe in, think of pushing the floor away, so we lift up out of the shoulders. A little lift through the tailbone, just if that feels okay. You can do less lift if you need to. Big breath in there as we stretch through the belly, and then start to tuck the pelvis under, roll up through the back, chin in, lift through the belly as we breathe out. Inhale, body coming forwards. So if you are really feeling it in the lower back, maybe just come to more of a flat back position, and then breathe out and really see if you can accentuate this arch. So really scooping down and lengthening through the lower back. Okay, just start to move at your own speed, maybe with your eyes closed. This is really nice to do with the eyes closed. So just come nice and internal, blocking out the outside world, just being with your breath and feeling that lovely articulation through the spine. Okay, we're going to do one more of those. Breathing in. And then breathing out. This time, see if you can just stay in your cat pose for a moment. So really arching through the spine. Just see if that feels good. Give the head a little shake out side to side. So releasing in the neck, in the cervical spine of the neck. And then maybe just see if you can almost wag your tail a little bit in this position. For me, this feels really nice for the lower back, so you can try it. If it doesn't feel good, then just come back into your cat-cow, do another couple of rounds. So nice and easy, not forcing the hips, just taking a little sway side to side. Okay. And then bring yourself back into a nice neutral spine again. Breathe in, and then let's breathe out into a child's pose. So we're drawing the bottom down and back. So you might find that your bottom doesn't meet your heels, your bottom might be off, that's fine. So that might be where you just pop a little cushion underneath your heels if that's comfy. And then we can melt the forehead down to the ground. And if you're not quite there today, you can just pop one hand on top of the other, forehead onto the backs of the hands, or even stack the fists. So we've got the forehead onto the backs of the fist, onto the top of the fist there. Just take a couple of breaths. Let's slightly elongate the out breath again. So breathing out through the mouth. Allowing your pelvis to really drop down. So we're starting to really ease into the lower back and lengthen. Big breath in. Exhale through the mouth. One more time. Nice deep breath in. Okay, so let's make our way back up onto all fours. And then from here, you're going to take one arm, we're just going to take a nice little twist through the back. So one arm, breathing in, lifting up and open. Exhale, thread the needles. We're starting to rotate through the back. Inhale, lifting. Exhale, coming underneath. So we're just going to do 5 on each side. Breathing in. Open the chest, open the shoulder. Exhale. Okay, last couple. Bring yourself back into the middle. So this is more working the middle of the back. So we get that nice rotation. Breathing in, lifting, and exhale. Just encouraging a little more movement through the middle of the back. Exhale. Good, just 2 more. the centre. We're going to pop the knees a little bit wider than the hips, and then the hands a little wider than the shoulders. Really spread your hands again, bending the elbows, and then we're just taking a nice big circle. So if your wrists are feeling it a little bit, feel free to go onto a fist. Keep your elbows nice and soft. So any movement through the lower back, through the bottom, be creative in your movement. Okay, let's reverse that. So breathing in, lifting, breathing out, coming back. You might notice some little clicking in your shoulders going on, so just be nice and easy. Soft through the elbows. One more circle. Okay, coming back up and forwards. Lovely. So we're going to leave the knees quite wide. We'll pop the big toes side by side. Breath in and then breathe out, draw your bottom down and back again. So we come into our hair. So melting the forehead back down. Don't forget, use your hands if you can't quite meet the ground, doesn't matter. So we feel that lovely dropping down of the pelvis, and you might start to get a little feeling of opening through the inner thighs as well. Okay, when you're ready, lifting the head, we're going to take the right hand around the side off your mat, and then your left hand side by side, or bring your left hand on top of your right hand. So we've got the hands swung over to the right, so we're creating like a little curve in the spine, like a C shape. Breathe in, and then when you breathe out, draw your left buttock away from the hands a little bit. Melt the forehead down, so it might meet the floor, it might just be hovering. And then just take a nice big breath into the left ribs. Lifting the head, this time taking the left hand off your mat, right hand side by side or on top. Breathe in, and then we're drawing the right buttock down and back on the diagonal. 2 big breaths into the right ribs. So feel the ribs opening and softening back inwards. Lovely. And then we'll just bring ourselves back up into the middle. Perfect. So we're going to come back up, pop the knees together. We're going to take a little seat and then bring the legs back round. We're going to come back down onto our backs. Okay, so roll yourself down, use your hands a little bit there. Take your feet open again. Just come back into our nice wide leg twist that we did. So just dropping the knees side to side. Let those knees become lovely and wide through the middle. So we breathe in through the centre and we breathe out to let the knees drop. Okay, one more on each side. Great, so let's come back up into the centre. Well done. So we're going to give the knees a little hug again. So just pop them up and in. So your knees might come straight up and in, but depending on your hip sockets, they might prefer the diagonals a little bit more. So go with whatever feels good. And then just do that lovely circle again. So really massaging into the lower back. And then reverse. And then we're just going to finish with a really nice twist. So make this one really gentle. So this is where our cushions come back in. So to make it really gentle, we're going to pop a cushion on the ground, and then you're going to pop a cushion between your knees. So we're breathing in and then we're breathing out. We're just popping the knees down over to the right side so you can get nice and comfy. So if you get there and you just think, actually, I need a little bit more twist, get rid of one pillow. And then you don't even have to have this one. I just quite like it for the hips to have a little bit of space. So completely up to you. We're going to take the arms out to the side in line with the shoulders, slide those shoulder blades down the back, breathing in and then breathing out, maybe lifting and turning the head in the opposite direction of the knees. If the cushion doesn't work for you, get rid of the cushion. So as we breathe out, see if you can soften into the underneath buttock and hip. Drop into the backs of your shoulder blades, soften the wrists, soften the fingers, and soften your toes. Let's bring the head back first of all, and then carefully lifting the legs back up through the middle. If you need to, pop your feet down, just adjust your pelvis and the shoulders, and then pick up the knees. Decide whether you want to pop your cushions onto the other side, make that cushion between your knees again, or maybe you don't want them, that's fine. And then breathe out, just let your knees come over to the left. So readjust your shoulders, let those shoulder blades really sink into the ground. Nice spacious neck, maybe lifting the head, turning the head to the right side. I always like to loosen the jaw here. So loosen the jaw, let your chin melt towards your shoulder. Soften that underneath hip, buttock. Nice feeling of dropping into the wrists. Let your fingers soften, let your toes soften. When you're ready, head coming back up into the centre, lifting the legs, give them a last hug. Well done. And then we're just going to take a few minutes to lay still, let our bodies rest, always of benefit. So you can either pop your feet down, see if you do want to lay your legs out long into Savasana. So we'll just have a nice gap between the feet, let your feet naturally roll outwards. Or go back to the position that we were in at the beginning with those cushions behind the backs of your knees. Or as an alternative, you might want to come here today to finish. So soles of the feet together and then let your knees open. Then we can just pop these cushions underneath your knees. It feels really supported, but a nice sort of feeling of sinking into your lower back being cradled, and a tiny opening through the inner thigh. So if you want to join me there, feel free. Let's slide those shoulder blades down the back. Let's elongate the neck, draw the chin in a little bit. Yes, we do develop little double chins when we do this, but it's very good for the neck. So we're going to place the hands onto the belly, or maybe down by the side of the body, maybe the palms up and open. Just allowing the face to become really soft again, lovely and open and smooth. Soft palate, soft eyes, soft jaw. Locating your in-breath. Feeling your out-breath as your body softens. And then as you exhale, dropping into every part of your body that's in contact with the ground. So into your feet, wherever they're resting, dropping into the pelvis, the shoulder blades, the arms, the wrists, the back of the head. And then just as we did at the beginning, our awareness coming right to the tailbone, thinking of softening the muscles around your tailbone, making your way up through the sacrum, the plate at the lower back, and softening the muscles either side of the spine. Easing into your lower back, softening the vertebrae, finding space and softness between every vertebrae of the lower back. Releasing the muscles either side of the lower back. And then making your way up to the middle of the back, again softening, letting the middle of the back gently sink downwards. Meeting the thoracic spine, so the upper back, 12 vertebrae that connect to the ribs. So think about breathing out and really softening into your back ribs here. Let your rib cage become heavy. Moving your awareness up and up, softening the space between your shoulder blades, coming into the upper back and softening, and then meeting the neck, the cervical spine. Easing into every vertebrae of the upper back and the neck, softening the muscles either side of the neck. And then doing that little release of your jaw, maybe allowing your chin to come down a touch. So we find that lovely release right in the top of your neck, where your skull attaches. Take a breath in again, and then as we breathe out, just ease down into the whole of your spine. And then return back to the rise and fall of your body. Just enjoy a couple of minutes now to rest your body, rest your mind, being in this present moment and choosing to rest. Okay, so when you feel ready, starting to bring your awareness back into your physical body as it lays on your mat. And take your awareness down to your fingers and your toes, just give them a wriggle. And see where your body needs to go to. So you might need a big stretch, you might want to have a nice big yawn, or you might just simply want to roll yourself onto one side and take a moment there. So do whatever you feel like your body needs. Take your time. And then nice and slowly roll yourself over onto one side. Take a little moment there. And then use your hands to push yourself up. So come up nice and slowly. Ooh, lifting the head. Let's just come into a little seated position. Pop something underneath your bottom if you like. So a nice feeling of being rooted through the sit bones, lifted through the crown of the head. And as we lift through the crown of the head, the heart will lift, the shoulders will relax. And then we'll just bring the hands into the heart center. Taking a moment to see the light within each and every one of us. Namaste. Thank you for joining me. I hope your lower back feels a little bit more eased out. So you can just pick and choose any of those movements that really felt good for you. And then maybe that's how you start your day, and just do a little bit of movement to start to ease into the lower back. So enjoy. Thank you for joining me.